It started storming here, so I was like, okay, I have to go live now. Because that's just the rules, you know how it is. Have a good night. Which steps remain for finishing the game engine? Good question. Not that much. I kind of want to rework the lighting system again. I have most everything done. I need to figure out how to do entity and like enemy pathing to the player. That's a big one that I still have to do. Other than that, pretty much everything is in there. Like, entities can now play animations and execute code based on distance to the player and stuff like that. Kind of taking a break from it to just work on the art. What is annoying is that this is slanted. Do you see that? Yeah, this is gonna be me like kind of just following a YouTube tutorial and like taking my own creative liberties sometimes. So you kind of just want to scale them down. Now you might be thinking, oh, that looks nothing like a leg, but you know, wait, it kind of does look nothing like a leg. It does look a bit weird, doesn't it? I think that, so apparently there's this S shape, right? So apparently it's supposed to go like this is what a leg is supposed to do. Pro tip, look at low poly character. Mother, what do you think I have on my other screen right now? I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it and his goes back. You're not looking at it right. Dude, this goes back. This goes back. Okay. Okay, maybe it doesn't go back like that. Maybe it doesn't go back like that. I feel like it's this. I feel like that's it, man. Yeah. I think the whole leg is kind of off now. It looks like a satyr. Turn save search on if you look it up. I know what a satyr is. Apple. I read like in Percy Jackson when I was in like middle school or whatever. I know what a satyr is. I was into all that Greek bullshit. What's a satyr? It looks like this. It's like a goat man. Every time I look at it, it gets a bit worse. And if you're saying that Thomas Potter is wrong, if you come after my boy Thomas, I don't know. I might have to throw hands on you. Don't come after my boy Thomas. No, it's just you who is doing it wrong. Dude, it's like that looks the same. Dude, it looks the same. Yeah, there is something fucked up about it. There is something fucked up about it. Hold on. You made the torso way too tall? Yeah. Yeah, you're kind of right about that. But making a human, apparently I'm making a goat, as Arya would say. Yeah, I know I made the torso a bit tall, but I kind of wanted it to be like a tall person, but I guess I did it a bit wrong. I feel like we can fix it though if I just bring this down a bit. Holy sh**, saved. Wow, that actually looks so much better. No? Like, that's so much better. What do you think about Apple products? I have an iPhone. I've always had an iPhone. I think that they just make they make phones. Yeah, I think Apple makes phones. Yeah, I mean, they don't make computers good. Are you gonna tell me that you think Apple makes good computers since the Apple II? Macs are Unix based, so it's better than Windows. It's just too expensive for what it is. What? What? Are you smoking today, man? You sound like somebody who hasn't owned a Mac before. You have owned a Mac? I don't believe you. W. Thomas, let me tell you. See, Helix comes in the chat. He knows about Thomas, dude. Thomas is the goat. The goat, but not the goat legs. Not the goat legs. How did the Rhino model turn out? It actually turned out good. So I ended up just going back from what you saw, that the curse topology that you saw last time. I just completely scrapped it and just went to an earlier version of the model and then worked on it again. I can show you how it turned out. Believe it or not, I mean, it just animates fine, you know? Like, it animates fine. So that's kind of all we care about. I've watched this tutorial like a bunch of times just to get ready for this. He makes a circle here. I've always sucked at visual art. I don't know. I think I've just got like f***ed up eyes, to be honest. So the idea is that this is going to end up being like the first enemy in my game, right? I want it to be. I thought it was bad. It came to me in like a dream. Was that like she's gonna like have like a machine gun pistol and she's gonna shoot herself and then the bullets are gonna come out of her mouth like boom 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 boom. It's gonna be badass. Take out the context of a video game. This dream is very disturbing. Yeah, it was disturbing, but I was like, God, that would be fucking so badass if that was like an attack in a video game. Am I working as a game dev in my professional life? No. Professional life.
I think when it comes to making
I appreciate that though. That does boost my ego a bit though. That I think that I'm a professional game developer. You gotta get the yellow stretch brush, and then just like turn the strength down. Oh, this is good. This is good. Yeah, we're cooking here. We're cooking. What the f am I saying? We're cooking? Who the f am I, man? I just had like an identity crisis. Yeah, this is why I didn't go to art school for fucking modeling, that's for sure. I went to art school for music instead. And now look at me, I'm not making music and I'm modeling. Yeah, all the animators when I went to art school were always like wizards to me. Like they were so fucking cracked. And like the graphic design people too, just so fucking cracked, man. All the music people like are just music people are just lazy by design. I just think that that's how music people are, to be honest. I feel like this is a bit. Oh wait, we need to mirror modify this before I like grief this. I was about to grief it. I was like, huh, this doesn't look symmetrical. Will it look medieval? I don't really know about medieval. I want it to be like kind of gritty. Like one of my favorite games is Silent Hill. But I also like I have like this psychedelic sort of art style, kind of partially inspired by the fact that I have HPPD, so I'm like permanently in a trip. So kind of like all the things that I do are psychedelic just because that's kind of how I like experience life. You know, if you type Vim into Google, it says, "Did you mean Emacs?" Really? I didn't actually know that. I don't really understand the whole Vim Emacs debate. Like, they're just two totally different things. I feel like it's a bit big, no? Trying to look at my own hand. Yeah, it's a bit big. Now we should fix the head for sure. The head needs some fixing. Alright, time to get some music going. Yeah, I was listening to Red the other night and I was like, wow, this is awesome. I haven't listened to Red in a few years, but I was listening to it the other night at the King Crimson album and I was like, wow, this is actually a lot better than I remember. I like the fact, like, I like kind of the droopiness, right? It's kind of creepy. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of the guy with two faces from Harry Potter. You know the part in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone where he takes off the turban or whatever and he's got like two faces? That's what it kind of reminds me of. Yeah, when I was younger, I I really had a, I really hated, for whatever reason, King Crimson. I just thought that it was like pretentious bullshit, but I think it's pretty good. That's a dude? I don't know, I feel like the features are kind of feminine, like the chest and the head is pretty feminine, and the kind of shoulders are a bit feminine. Also, it is just like low poly art. Like, I feel like most of the features have to come from the texture anyway, so I do feel like it is kind of folly to try so hard on this. This picture that you sent just has it's like, it just, the difference is that it has boobs on it. I feel like the more we look at it, the more we're gonna find problems with it, to be honest. Like, I think it's one of those things. Okay, what's next? So we have to do the hair, I guess, and the clothes, which I did look up a little bit about, but I'm not really sure what I want to do for them. I didn't really draw anything out. I'm not really going for an accurate nose, more like a kind of video game character nose. I see them do it multiple ways though. I see people do it like, I've seen people do it like this, where they select around and then they like duplicate it out and then put a solidify modifier on it. I also see people just like make a sphere or make like a cube and then subdivide it and then put it on top. I see people do it multiple ways. I think I'm gonna do it this way though. So I'm just going to duplicate it and then press escape. Make sure that this is separate by selection. And now it's separate. Try to scale this, I guess. Now, how do I want, so I kind of want the hair to come down here. So I'm just going to, we can add more vertices in a little bit. I just kind of want to get the shape first. I definitely want it to be like that hair that, oh my god, was that a bee that just flew past me? Chill out, bee. Oh my god, the storm is crazy right now. It's actually like crazy. Oh my gosh, do you hear that? Holy sh**. Did you hear that? I saw that. Fucking lightning bolt hit like right in front of me. It's like a gunshot. Am I live? Did my power just go out? Is it storming outside? I am outside, but yeah, it is storming pretty hard right now. That was insane. Wait, I am? Yes, I am outside. I stream outside every time. Go inside. It's a part of the ambiance. Yeah, so my power died for a little bit, and then it auto stopped my stream. So, while I was getting coffee. So, but you know, as long as the power stays on, I'll be around. Hopefully it doesn't go out, because if it goes out here, it fucking stays out for a long time. They take forever to get the power on where I live. So, yeah. This is what we're going for right here. Maybe you don't want to mirror that though. Yeah, you probably don't want to mirror that detail in yet. But we'll keep the loop cut there for later. I kind of do want to make it longer, but at the same time... Yeah, let's actually do that. So, how do we do this? This looks good. This looks really good, actually. I'm pretty happy with this. So now... You kind of want this to split in two, right? There was a time where I was like... Didn't really have a place to stay in New York. And I remember listening to King Crimson, Starless a lot during that time. I remember there was one day where I was listening to Red this specific day, pretty bad day. I was trying to call my old friend, but she wasn't picking up. And I was in Chinatown. And it's a really, really bad day. It's kind of like had no money at all at that point. I was listening to a lot of like psych rock at that time. I was listening to like Yes, Close to the Edge as well. I remember that day. It was a particular day because yeah, I wanted to get the Chinese cigarettes. That's why I was in Chinatown. So I was trying to find where all those Chinese guys in Chinatown get the Chinese cigarettes from. And I kept on going up to these random guys, asking them, "Hey, do you know where do you get those cigarettes? You know, the Changhua or whatever?" And none of them would talk to me. The reason why is because I believe that those cigarettes are actually like legally imported. And so where they get them from is like a kind of a secret that they didn't want to share with me, a random guy. Anyway, a weird story, but yeah. Cigarette mafia? No, that's literally what it is, I think. Like they have like kind of their like own dealers for those cigarettes. And because they're like cheaper than, that's why I was trying to get them, because they're like, they get them for cheap because they get them illegally imported. And at that point I couldn't afford another pack of cigarettes. I haven't had a cigarette in a while. That's good. I mean, I quit smoking. I am a bipolar person, and I've heard a very common thing for people with bipolar is just smoking cigarettes. So I think that that's definitely a part of it, of why smoking was such a big thing for me my entire life. Said I learned C++ by myself, no college. I don't know C++. I only know C. But yeah, I didn't go to college for programming. I went to college for everything but programming. I went to college 3 times and never got a degree. I must have an affinity for it, for programming. Yeah, I always loved programming. The story I kind of tell about it is that when I was a teenager, there was this this kind of like competition, I guess, that they have for all like the smart kids in the state. I was going to like an engineering high school, and so everybody with good grades was basically going to like the regional, to the capital of the state, and you basically have like this interview and you show off and stuff, and if they select you, you get to go to like this camp for the smart kids or whatever. I was programming at the time. I wanted to go for programming because that was what I was doing. I was like obsessed with it. I would go home and I would do all these terminal applications, and I made this chess program and all this, and I went there to the capital, and we drove out for a very long time, and I go to the interview with this guy, and he said, "Have you made a website?" And I said, no, I'm not really interested in making websites. And then I showed him the code for all the stuff that I was doing in Java, and he just took one look at it and he said, "You don't have a website though." And I was like, "No, I kind of do all this, all this terminal application stuff." And he was just like, "We'll let you know." Like that was the entirety of my interview. And kind of the story I tell is like, after that I just got so demotivated and I didn't program for a long time. I don't know, that kind of taught me that, I don't know, programming, at least the programming that I wanted to do, was not the programming that other people were expecting me to do. And I was like, F that. But that guy asks people nowadays if they've implemented the OpenAI API. Yeah, Exactly. It's the same type of thing. Yeah, it's. I was always into low level stuff, but back then when I was like a teenager, I remember I wanted to learn C++. Like, I was like really into wanting to learn C++, but back then there wasn't like the Cherno on YouTube. You know, there wasn't any good C++ like teach yourself. I just learned Java because that's what my computer science, class taught me. So back then, I feel like if I had a mentor that like taught me C++ back then, or if I just like spent some time working, I feel like my life could have totally turned out different, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really understand why King Crimson, like, they make such good songs and then half of it is just them noodling around. I just never got it. I think that the hair turned out great. I was really surprised, to be honest. I think that we do this, we apply it, and then we start just playing around with the individual pieces. Is this something that you want to do, like, after you do the clothes? Probably, right? Because you want it to all go on the same texture. I'm thinking, I kind of wanted her to just, like, have, like, jeans and a jacket on, to be honest. I think it's more creepy, almost if she's, like, dressed like a normal person. What if I do the same thing that I did with the hair? Yeah, I'm trying to. I thought about that, but then I've kind of realized, like, then it would just have the shape of her leg. I don't know if I really wanted that. Like, I'm thinking, like, jeans, to be honest. You want to turn off clipping for this? Like, it's annoying that they crease, but I wonder if it's because of the mirror. An easy way for us to do is just, like, save as another one and then just apply the mirror and then mode complex. Oh, mode complex fixed it. There we go. That's what you want. Maybe it's a bit too poofy. I feel like it looks pretty even though in terms of like stretching out. Maybe I just don't have a good eye for this stuff. I'm not sure if I like care about how surgical this is though. Like, I feel like if I just like sit here and take forever to do it. Alright, see you guys later, I guess. Thanks for watching. I don't really know why I'm live, but I'm alright. I'm just a bit bored. not bored. I've been in a slump. Been in a slump recently. So trying to get out of the slump. I don't know how we're gonna achieve that. As you can see, I was weight painting. It still is kind of f***ed, to be honest, especially in a position like this. But overall, the rig is fine. Like, it's not the best rig you've ever seen, but I think it works fine. There is the leg movement. There is the arm movement, although it is kind of sketchy. I did do the rig myself. I didn't use Rigify or any of that because I kind of wanted to understand how it works. She isn't clamped to the ground. The reason why is because I just haven't implemented it yet. So she just follows like the Z average. So that's why she doesn't go over this hill, for example, because we don't actually sample the floor height every frame, which we should. But yeah, she does go around obstacles. Let's see if we, yeah, she gets stuck. So this happens like actually pretty rarely. It's pretty surprising that we got on the first one, but basically what's happening here is we aren't storing the paths. So when she gets to this cell, she tries to go skip this corner, right? And then she goes into this cell, but this cell has no holes inside of it, so she can't find a path from this cell. She does sometimes go through the walls, so the issue with the going through the walls, if I can explain it correctly, it's because of how we determine neighbors for the hole adjacency, since basically the algorithm goes based on neighbors. So it looks through every hole inside of a cell, and then it looks through the neighbors of those holes, so whatever shares an edge with that hole, and then it basically tries to jump from neighbor to neighbor. The way that I'm doing it right now is that I don't have a check for which one is a neighbor. I just kind of lump them all together. Like for a hole, I'll just say whatever's in the area, let's just include it, which doesn't really work when you get to a cell like over here. Like obviously we're going to include both this cell's holes and this cell's holes, so now they're both neighbored, which isn't great. So that's, I mean, if I had to guess, that's where that bug comes from. Yeah, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't really understand how the A-star algorithm works. I just kind of copied it, so there's also that. I kind of don't like it when I copy shit like that, because then I don't understand how the code works. I wanted a model also recently. This clip is kind of famous on YouTube. Maybe you've seen it, of like the Satan from Mark Twain, or something similar to this mask. It just looks amazing to me. It has this great expression on its face, where it's just got like this creepy kind of stillness beauty to it. And I definitely wanted to make a mask like this in the game, where it's just the character is just this mask and it's just floating and talking to you. I've seen this mask in the past but didn't know where it came from. Yeah, I've gotten this in my recommended like a billion times. It's got like 7 million views or whatever. It's a very famous clip. I don't even think I've watched the clip in full. I kind of hate how the children are modeled in this. I kind of want this mask character to be like your shop that you go to, and the person that you like purchase like guns or ammo from, or like some sort of shop. Maybe I just want it to be like between levels or something. You go to this guy, and then this guy is who basically gives you the guns, and he's going to be called the Doctor, I think. I don't think he's a good character by any means of the imagination, but I wanted it to definitely, the idea of a mask is kind of that you don't really know who this character is behind the mask. That's kind of how I felt with all of the doctors that I've ever been to in my life, and I think that having this character as a kind of a doctor character, it just kind of clicked in my mind the other day. My doctors never took off their masks. I just like roll into my doctor, and then they're all like eyes wide shut. Like, I think that doctors are just so, they never kind of take off their mask, you know? It's always kind of on, at least with my experience with doctors, like during my life. That's always kind of, you never know whose interest they're working in. Maybe it's just like American doctors. Doctors here at least are extremely expensive, right? That's the first thing. Second of all, they prescribe a lot of medication and stuff. They make a lot of money. Let's just say it's taken me a long time to find to find doctors that I'm absolutely sure now are working in my interest. You know what I mean? I have gone many years with doctors who have kept me on medication that I've had like extremely bad side effects to, and stuff like that. Government pays for most things where I live. Like when you go to a break and bone, you only have to pay about $50 and then you're good to go. Yeah, that's insane to me. The thing in America is that like everybody will agree in America that like, oh, I'm scared to get hurt, because if I get hurt or if I get sick and I have to go to the hospital, then I'm going to be in debt for the rest of my life. Like that's just a thing in America, where if you get sick, if you get hurt and you don't have workers' comp or something, you're just fucked. You're just fucked. Like, you will be in debt. I think that, to be honest, most doctors, at least in my experience, are kind of like scumbags. But I also know people that like have just lucked into having good doctors that are like, oh yeah, my doctors are awesome, you know. Yeah, I think that this might be a universal issue. They want to keep you to keep buying medication instead of actually cure you. Yeah, exactly. And then when you have bad side effects to that medication, they'll just keep you on it and then, you know, throw you an award when it gets to be too much. So we have to change this function for sure. Because right now this basically says if our holes aren't equal, we're just going to emit neighbors, right? So we just store these neighbors on both holes. And I had this function that wasn't my own function that determines if holes are neighbors, which is basically just a segment test, which isn't good enough at all. What am I gonna listen to today? I kind of wish I could like actually listen to real music on stream. I'm just kind of scared that YouTube is like not gonna let me get monetized ever. It's hard to make a game engine. I'm thinking if I should or not. I mean, don't be intimidated by it at all. If me, an idiot, can make a game engine, then I think you can make a game engine. When publish? I'm not really sure. I kind of wanted to like make a demo binary that I just put out, maybe in the Discord or whatever, that I just like basically just put it out. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Whatever game I make with this is going to be a long time. It has to be a long time, because, you know, just making the models that I've made so far, you know, just take like kind of 2 to 3 days to make. So if I want to make 100 models, that's going to take a year if I'm doing it every day. It's honestly if any of these, because if our points touch, then we also want to return true. So we could just do it for any of this. If AX, I guess I could have just done this, huh? Like I didn't even have to do this at all. I could have just done this a lot simpler, huh? Oh, it's doing this bug again. I wonder if we loosen up the epsilon if it's fine. Yeah, no. It's not. It's definitely a neighbor adjacency issue, since if we get rid of the... Let me try this, actually. That's a good idea. Okay. So we're back to working. Let's see if we go through walls. Well, okay, so let's see. Do you go through walls? Let's see if she goes through this wall. She does. I could also check to see, to make sure that there isn't a hole there. There isn't a hole there. But it's this one specific spot that she goes through. It might not even be my neighbor adjacency then. That's the issue. It might actually be something else. Right, yeah, I had this clipping algorithm that I did recently that might actually be a part of the problem. It wasn't really my clipping algorithm. When something isn't mine, it's typically problematic. We should get the area for the clipped polygon, And then if the area is too small, then we don't include it at all. Because what I'm assuming is happening is that 2 triangles get clipped, and then they both become a square, basically. Let's just do our naive triangulation here for convex holes. It's fine. I was not paying attention. What is the problem that I'm working on right now? So we have this new clipping algorithm for our holes. One of 2 things is happening. We are either omitting a hole under the wall, which is what I think is happening, so that's what I'm working on right now, or we are basically saying that holes on either side of the wall are neighboring each other when they aren't. So right now what I'm doing is I'm taking the clipped polygon, I'm going to check the area of the clipped polygon, and if it's too small, then we discard it, basically. That's what we're doing. I have 2 different triangle area formulas, but I'm just going to go with this one. I'm pretty sure that they're exactly the same. This is one of my favorite songs. This version of it is awesome too. Have I tried Doom Emacs? I'm having fun with it. No, I haven't actually. I think I would probably enjoy Emacs a lot. I used to have a Vim configuration with like a lot of markdown in it, so I'd probably like Emacs. I don't know, I really enjoy the performance of Helix though. Like, I like being able to be in a 10,000 line file and not lag at all, you know? That's something that I would find hard to give up, because I've heard that it can get a bit unperformant sometimes because of all the stuff that is in Emacs. Okay, so I+1 brings us to the final count, so we should be fine with this. If area is less than 0.1f, let's do 0.2f just to be sure here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think it's working. She's just getting stuck in the wall, but that worked. I think that fix worked. The clipping algorithm sometimes makes triangles that are really, really small. So what was happening was you got a triangle that got clipped to exactly the whole boundary on one side of the wall, and then exactly the whole boundary on the other side, and then they basically merged to make a square. The ride peel session is actually pretty good. I was listening to this the other day, and I think it's actually a really good peel session. The Stereolab peel session is also good, and I'll play that next. Okay, so let's focus though. We still wanna, I think we wanna still keep the debug printouts for all of this. Yeah, I just haven't been getting good sleep lately, so I'm sorry if I'm like super tired today, but so this gets the player basically the hole that the player is currently in, which is the floor, right? So the floor that the player is currently on, right, by sampling the player height, right? Now eventually we can just like put this on the player struct itself so that we don't have to do this per entity, since this is complicated. But for now, let's just keep it here just so that we can have it all in one place. Honestly, this song, like, it doesn't really sound like a ride song. This sounds like a Sarah Records song, to be honest. Like, I don't know what it is about it. This sounds like literally like a like an Orchid song, or like a Field Mice song, maybe. We basically want to see how far the player is from this new cell. I'm kind of wondering if you want to cache this on the struct, but we won't even worry about that right now. Let's say if we have moved like 2 units, for example, then we want to recalculate the path. So we're gonna go calc path equals true. Okay. Okay, so this is what we want to do next. We want to have an int current node, current path node, and this is how we have basically state sharing between paths. So right now I have this logic which basically moved us along a path, but we now have we're not recalculating the path every frame, so now we don't need to do this. We can just keep a current path node, and then once we reach a node we can just increment the counter to go to the next node instead. I wanted to play the Stereolab Peel session. Absolutely. 30th of July 1991. This has an awesome version of Super Electric right at the front of it. The issue that I see with this, right, so if I say like if dist to node is less than 0.1f, right, if the entity is technically going fast enough, right, then it might never hit this frame. And if it never hits this frame, then it just gets stuck on this node. I mean, we could just do this for now, it's fine. Like, we could just do this for now and then just say, you know, go to the next node, basically, but... So now we're basically... Okay, so we're basically... What we're doing here is we're creating a tentative location that the entity could be at the end of the frame. And then if that tentative location is close enough to the node, then we increment the current path node. Actually, this doesn't even need to be proposed. We can just set this to node translation. Okay, so she seems to be following us pretty well. She does still kind of clip the corner, but we can fix that pretty easily. Wow, I'm actually pretty proud of us for fixing these bugs today. To be honest, I thought that it would be a disaster. So the reason why she's still going through the walls is because the edge, it's going from centroid to centroid rather from edge to edge, so it should be going from here to here, I think. Yeah, so it's also a thing where these technically are neighbors when they shouldn't be. When it should technically go from here to here. See what I mean? Should go around the wall rather than... We of course also have to like give her like velocity so that she doesn't like move around on rails like this, but rotate her. Yeah, that's something I have to also do. She can rotate fine. I just have to... I only know how to do it with adding rotation rather than setting rotation. Do you know what I mean? I think it was in update entity I had this code. Yeah, so we had this. I wonder if axis just becomes the normalized direction. Wait, wait, this is a thing? I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I've always done it this way, and this is the way we're gonna do it. Insane. I've never done it that way. Think about the 12 nanoseconds you would save by using MPI2. Not the right axis, Lamau. You're not the right axis, Lamau. Okay, but tell me how this is the velocity, by the way. Okay, this is how we get it to move. It's the same direction, so... Let's just try this. It's the most random thing you like listening to. That's a good question. She's kind of facing the right direction though, you know what I mean? Like, that's a good question because like I went to music school, so I kind of have like this whole thing where I have like reasons for listening to everything that I like listening to. I think Coldplay's old records are actually good. I also like a lot of like female singer-songwriters from like the early 2000s. Like Sarah Bareilles, and I blame it on my mom. So I think we normalize it without the Z component. Just doing random shit right now. Just trying out random combinations until something works. Yeah, if we're turning, then we need to find a new direction. So this actually isn't going to be this. This is going to be a different target. So now we have the delta dir, which is the axis. So that goes here. And then the angle, which is the dot between what? But I'm not sure if that angle is actually in radians though. Normalize the vectors first. Good call out. That's actually that was a good call out from you. This song is one of my favorite songs of all time. It's Pale Spectre by The Wake. I think it's about depression, this song. It's like telling this story about this ghost that crawls into her house and starts talking to her. Yeah, the lyrics for the song are awesome. Pale Spectre in shadow cried, "Where's the moon tonight? It looks like an enormous light." And I replied, "Heaven'll help you out, visitant, heaven'll help you out." Pale Spectre in shadow said, "Your tale is not quite right. It is just an enormous lie, and I can't deny." I said, "Sha-la-la-la-la." So basically, it's like this kind of like philosophical argument with this like ghost of depression that's just like following her around, right? And then at the end, she kind of just like gives in. This ghost is like asking throughout the duration of the song, "Where is the moon? Where's the moon?" Like crying out to the moon. And then at the end, she says something like, you know, "Heaven will help you out, visitant," right? Like this, you know, kind of you know, like the whole religion thing. And then you know, the ghost says, "No, you're capping." And then she's like, "Oh yeah, you're so right, I am depressed." Anyway, brilliant song. Dot AB gives the cosine of the angle. Well, you're spitting facts right now. But it said that I needed to take the cross product, and then that is my axis. We are looking for the axis, not the angle. Well, we're looking for both, so we get the axis and the angle. Yeah, I can't say that I'm very pleased with the results. Not C++, not C#, not Java, just C. Wow. Little ray of sunshine. So I was right, it is a cosine. No, you're completely right. It's just our cross product is not correct. You know what I just realized that's throwing everything off is that our rotation, our starting rotation, isn't actually this direction. Our starting rotation is actually node rotation, but it's in quaternion. So we need to go from quaternion to a vec3. Is that possible? Quaternion to vector 3. Okay, never mind. Okay, so it's fine. We just need to have a starting direction that it starts at. The starting forward direction. What if we try to like manually flip the things of our axis? What if we do like axis dot x equals axis dot z? I don't know. Just to see what it does. I was having such a good day before we started working on this, man. I was like, we fixed all these bugs, and we were just having a ball of a time. And then Arya came in here and said rotate her. And then my life just hasn't been the same. What am I coding? Hey, what's up, Mr. Cosma? Right now I'm coding entity rotation for my game engine. So basically what we're trying to figure out, perhaps a bit to our own folly right now, is I'm trying to get the entity to basically turn with the path that it's taking, using quaternions, which is quite frustrating. So as you can see, I have all this debug here. That is the axes and the angles for every turn. Basically, the entity follows a path, right, to go to a certain location, like this. But obviously, I want it to rotate to the path that it's taking. basically. So that's what we're working on right now. Maybe just put this in before we normalize it. Maybe that's why this is bugging out. This appears to be working. Like, she is facing the correct direction every time. It's just that now one of her axes is getting changed as well. That shouldn't be. Maybe we set an axis to 0. I hear your silhouette behind the ears. Music's so soft. This is working. There we go. Now, of course, it's a bit robotic, right? Obviously, you want to basically do this over the course of a couple of frames, but that's what we'll work on next. A couple of things here. So, to get her to skip going over these corners, there's two things that we can do. First of all, I'm trying to get her to do it just so that I can show it off. She just wants to go around corners correct now. The thing is, this and this should not be neighbors, even though they share a point. I think we just want entities to always go this way. So, not based on this point going like this, but to go always around anyway. So, in terms of nav meshing, we should only have if they share an edge. So, that's a quick fix that I can implement. The second thing is that entities should not go from centroid to centroid, but to be more natural, they should go to the edges. So she would go to this edge to that edge instead of going from the centers, if that makes sense. We also just need the rotation to happen over the course of different frames. So how do I do that is a good question. So here we just compare points, but we shouldn't be comparing points. We should compare edges instead. Equals epsilon and AY is less than or equal to epsilon, and for this it would be CX less than equal to epsilon. So the way you can think of this is that I am basically checking for both orientations of edges. If for some reason we have our A1 point that matches up with our B0 point, then it's going to be a different orientation. So that's what this is. So that should immediately do something. So now we will not be going through wall corners. So now she will never cut corners, which is good. What we do is we just turn towards the turn target, which is the next node, whenever we're turning, which means the frame that we increase a path node, or or we start on a new path, then we are considered turning for that frame. And then we basically, the turn direction is the turn target, right? So we just turn towards the next target that we're going to be moving towards. Number of frames. And I don't think that I can just divide a direction by like 5, right? And then just count to 5. Like, I don't think that it's that simple. Why is it important to split the turn dur into multiple frames? It makes it so that she's not just like snapping between directions. So, you know, the entity can actually like look like she's turning around. What we're doing here is we're checking if our turn direction is the end forward. And then the next time it'll come into the function, then it'll say, oh, our forward vector is the same as our current turn direction, so we're not going to apply it. Yeah, I think that this might actually be it. Because now all we're doing is we are finding the difference between the vectors. We are then just scaling down the difference between the vectors, and then... No. Well, this still doesn't work. Maybe... Oh, yeah, maybe I need to re-normalize after this. That's a good question. Yeah, that's probably why. It is a pretty small turn. It is a pretty... Yeah, we always want to go in... We want to go... Be always doing our velocity to the forward direction. Adding, like, player direction to it is 100% going to make her bug out, because if she gets too much off the path, basically, she, yeah. Oh my god, is this broken again? So this is what I noticed on my last stream, that this wasn't actually... That this display capture isn't even correct. Like, why is this not scaled correctly? So, today we're going to be doing hitboxes and the hitbox editor. I have the structures here. Oh my gosh, I hit the mic, I'm sorry. So yeah, right now I'm going to make, I guess it's going to be JSON. So basically we're going to make the UI that selects bones of an entity, right? And then for the bones you can make a hitbox. And this is what that's going to look like. It's going to have the name of the model, the name of the bone, the offset from the center of the bone, and the half extents, which is, you can think of that as basically like if you have a rectangular prism, you can think of that as the radius in width, height, depth, basically. You know, half of it, so that it's just faster computing wise for the capsule tests, or not capsule tests, the AABB tests that we have to do with it, to have that rather than just the full dimensions. Each hitbox has a bone index on it. I don't think that bones or nodes should own hitboxes. That should be an entity thing. So it's going to be on the entity struct rather than on the node itself. We actually have to do that. So I'm just going to make in here very simply a hitbox pointer. Hitboxes, and we will have a hitbox count. Any documentation I read from this, just like very just random stuff that I found online beforehand, but I'm kind of just freestyling it. I do have documentation in the Discord, you can find it, that I recently posted in the Learn channel for how I did my bone matrices, which is kind of like already the heavy lifting on this, because now all I really have to do is I have to just take the columns of my bone matrices, and then that's going to be the orientation of the bounding box. But yeah, I'm probably also going to be, during today, it's going to be a longer stream, so I'm probably just going to have to be Googling as I go along, though, because I'm not really 100% certain on it. I wrote down like some notes. Why do I need OBB? It's honestly easier to do OBB because I already have bone matrices. It's actually like easier to do OBB than any other, than AABB or whatever, because all I have to do per hitbox, per bone, is literally just take the bone matrix columns after we do our animation transform, and then that just gets slotted into axis for the frame. I think it's a pretty cool project to do, to make a hitbox designer, so that's what I'm going to be working on today, is like we're going to be able to select bones and then design hitboxes for them. Hitbox per body part, that would be cool, but isn't that going to be hard? Not really, considering that I already animate all of the body parts, you know? Yeah, that's basically, that's what I'm going to be doing. But, yeah, I just wanted to do basically what it would look like, what that would look like. You also have to think, like, I want to create a debug shader to basically see the hitboxes that you're creating in real time, which means that I need to GL lines stuff, right, for the rectangles, and then for the spheres I don't know what I'll do, but you get what I'm saying. So you would basically do this, and then you would say hitbox, sphere, hitbox, capsule. For a sphere you would have just a float radius instead of the half extents, and then for a capsule you would probably have the radius and a float length for the capsule, right? So that's what the struct will probably end up looking like once I'm done, but for now, just for simplicity, I'm just gonna do prisms. You know what? I was going to listen to a Peel session today, but you know what? I saw a YouTube comment about John Peel, and apparently he was a, you know, I don't want to get censored by YouTube here, but he's a pedophile. He was a pedophile, and I had no idea about this. You know, I just learned about this now. He said, you know, I don't want to quote it. I'm not going to quote it actually because it's really disgusting. But yeah, basically he basically bragged about a 13-year-old, you know, 13-year-old fans basically. Yeah, it's like seriously disgusting. Anyway, that's why we're not listening to John Peel sessions today. But go to node. If I go to node, she's over there. Okay, well we have to fix that then. Basically, what this node select should be doing is just selecting her head here. So the tries are getting the root node ID and not the child node ID probably. See, I thought that this would be the node, but I'm guessing since it's all one mesh, I wonder if there's a way that I can separate it on export into different meshes. What we see here is that this cube 002 is the body of our entity. It has one mesh attached to it, which is all of the triangles for the body. That's what we're selecting. We're not actually selecting the bones, which are all of these, which don't have meshes attached to them. So I have to store these. Let me check if my GLTF nodes store. They do store names, so we can query it like that. I mean, that is kind of. It's not very visual, right? Like you would have to basically go through your nodes, like in a drop down maybe. Okay, so this is going to be more complicated than I thought. Okay, so what we're going to do is when we select our entity, when we select an entity, it's going to give us a skin, right? This gives us a skin of 2. We follow this skin to the skin definition, and the skin definition of 2, as you can see here, is this one with all of these joints. And then this is what we display in our dropdown, is all of these joints and their names. Then we display all the names, and this will say like head, foot, blah 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 blah. Then you select the joint itself, and then you select create hitbox or whatever, and then a default hitbox will appear around the joint. This is really not as complicated as it looks. I'm just getting the node so that we can get the name from the node. I wonder if using this is gonna break anything, because this is old code. Yeah, that's really old code. I feel like we just get rid of that, and if it breaks something, then that's just the way it is. So this checks if our selected entity is the which label our current selected entity is. First things first, let's figure out how my NK layout stuff is going right now. The issue is that if we have entities that are named the same thing, then whatever, we won't worry about it for now. You kind of want to say the name though, that of the entity that we have selected, but I don't want to be grabbing this every frame. Ugh. Well, it's either that or we store it on the entity itself. This gets us the node once again, and then we're just going to write the node name into here. Instead of just entity behavior callbacks, we're also going to make a type def struct entity definition, and then this is going to have the char name inside of it that it matches to on the thing, and then inside of here it's where you would have the float walk speed so that we can serialize it, but right now I'm not going to worry about that. So this is going to be the instance skins indexed by the ent skin ID. Okay, yes, and then we are going to be going through skin joint count. Okay, and then we will be retrieving the nodes based on that, based on the skin joints. To start game dev, do you need to do 100 leak code problems? Definitely not. I don't do leak code. I think that leak code is pretty bullshit, to be honest. I wonder if I'm going to segfault as soon as we start though, because this has given me quite a few segfaults in the past doing all this NK label stuff. I usually make a bug. If I select Shrieker, we get Shrieker, so this is actually correct. These are our different entities. Joint selection, wow, we actually did this correct. The good thing about Blender is that it has all of these bone armature things, right? Which is how you are able to see bones in Blender, is that it actually like has them as a thing, so I have to do something similar to that, right? I'm just wondering if I do that like actually on the GPU or just on the CPU. Okay, yeah, so let's just make an OBB on the CPU that shows us the joint that we have selected. Basically, it's just going to be a visual OBB. I have the math for that on my phone. Okay, so we need a new render pass then, so let's do that first. We can make a new render pass here pretty simply by just copying this. It's also going to be on main frame buffer. I had this old debug shader that isn't being used anymore, but it was this debug buffer. What did I do? It was GL draw arrays, yeah. So this is my own kind of shader system that I made, which basically it automates all of the render passes. So if you basically make a function that binds the correct callbacks and the correct data so that it automatically binds during runtime. I don't remember what these booleans are though. Bool dynamic is going to be false. It's hard-coded. Yep, so that's that. Honestly, we can just call this wireframe. Like, we can use this for multiple different things with different buffers. What's the name of this ambient album? It's a Father Reflection is the name of the record. It's a ambient record. when did this come out? 8 years ago? I remember when this came out. This beautiful, this first song is just wonderful. I want to just make an OBB just to get the hang of it here. We have some functions that I have to make first, though. So this is going to be the... Which one comes first? Yeah, the root has to come first. Has to be the root global matrix times the node global matrix. Transformation is the last column of the matrix. That's what I thought. Yeah, so I think I just get node obb.center equals get mat4xsw. So for this, how many points am I going to have? How many does this equal? This is maybe it's just a scale. It's a vectory scale thing of the axis times x times half extents dot x. Maybe it's this, and then oh, you don't do it. Okay, I was reading the formula wrong. You add all of them together. Now let's just figure out how to finish this. How many how many closing parentheses we need here. So this is this. Isn't it just going to be this selection vertex times 8 for 8 corners? Oh, statement is indented too deeply. Oh, the clanged indent police got me, because they really want me to. Clanged loves it when you write like this, because they're like, you have to wear diapers apparently, and you have to nested indent everything, or else it gives you a bunch of errors because you can't be trusted to write your own code your own way. Thanks, Clanged. Like, this looks so much worse. Whatever. Apparently we're fine. I'm just going to approach the beast here and see if we can do something now. So if I go into entity, we're not segfaulting, go to Shrieker, nothing is drawing. First of all, before we lose our mind here, let's make sure that we named the material correct. Yeah, there should be these I'm looking at the render properties. These render properties should technically be working. I woke up and noticed your stream playing on my monitor, so I'll just keep watching. That's funny. Honestly, I'm like really close to just making a new shader, to be 100% honest with you. Okay, I'm just making a new thing because I'm apparently packing this data wrong, and it's frustrating me, so I'm just going to make a new shader. What if we just blend 0 on these? What I'm worried about is that it's drawing over it or something. There we go. That's what it was. Oh my god, that took so long for me to figure out. Look, I mean, this is actually pretty fucking cool. This is actually pretty sick. Yeah, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you need 16 points for lines. I mean, we're just going to have to actually do this, which, I mean, it looks really annoying or like bad, but whatever. What's the thing to decrease numbers? Is it? Oh my god. Oh, that sucks so bad. Oh, no, you don't go from 3. You don't go... So 0, 3, 1 to 4, 2 to 5. May I ask why you use C instead of C++ for such a complex game engine? I used C because it's a language that I really enjoy. My argument is always that that since C is a simple language, it's good for complex things. That's what I think. Okay, entity. Okay, we made a box now, right? That's the box. Thank God. Okay. Making a cube has never been so difficult. As you can see, this is going to be the start of all of our hitbox building. Oh yeah, this is what we're listening to for sure. Yeah, there's no way we're not listening to that. This mix is awesome. I think I listened to this while I like coded half of my chess engine. Yeah, I think we need another material here. I think that's what we need. Oh god, what did I just do? Oh my god, are you serious? This is the last undo that it saved, was all the way back here. Yeah, and it goes to its own buffer. Yeah, I'm gonna copy the code. Yeah. Eventually you're gonna want an offset here from the center that we can do an offset from the center that for the hitbox so that it isn't glued to a bone, but for now let's just have it in the middle of a bone. It's fine. Now our spawn hitbox is going to, our display hitbox also segfaults us as well. Right node hitbox wireframe. It's from the recursion that we're dying. Just doing a bit of shifting over. Ooh, this is actually annoying because now our hitboxes can get to be infinite sized. But we don't mind. You know, it's whatever. Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. It's interesting that the Y extents go in the Z direction, but this is actually pretty sick. I have to be able to go negative offset. I totally forgot about that. You do this one of two ways that I'm thinking about, right? Like you could have a JSON per entities with the hitboxes, or you could have one giant JSON with all of your entity hitboxes in it. I think you want one big JSON. Okay, so we are adding, let's just make sure we're doing this correctly. So we create the object E, we add the name to E, we create an array for hitboxes. So now we're doing everything that we stored for each hitbox, which is the name, the offset, and the half extents. So now if I go to save, We saved all of our entities. Okay. So we are going to go through all of the children recursively searching for it. If talk.nodes, we are going to pass in the root node. The root node has, I think root is it, and then we are going by def.defs h.bone name. Okay. So that searches recursively from the root down through all of the children nodes to resolve the name to a node ID for our hitbox. Instant seg fault. What are we mad about? I kind of wonder that, if that's the seg fault. Well, no, it would tell me that in the backtrace. It would tell me that. Okay, I'm just going to copy this struct by hand then, I guess. Maybe there's just something that is really stupid that I'm missing. No name detected at bone name hitbox1. Oh wait, I didn't even see this. Hold on, it's not getting either of them. Maybe get array size is 0. Wait, but then how are we getting inside here? Wait, what? I'm trying to find where I messed up here. Oh gosh, this is so strange. At one end of the loop, it works fine, but then when it comes out the other side of the loop, it's null. What? Wait a second, I'm such a fucking moron. What am I doing? Oh my god, dude, I'm so dumb. I was so confused why that wasn't working, and it turns out that I just don't assign the pointer. I just was writing into a different pointer because I, oh my god, that's so frustrating. Okay. Well, I definitely made a mistake there. Oh, wait. I'm being so dumb. I'm being so stupid. No wonder. Oh my god. Sometimes, man. So, if I go to save entity definitions, next time we load in, we should load in with these hitboxes. Gosh, this is annoying actually. So it's not saving my correct extents. We are definitely, yeah, that's what it is. I copied and pasted it wrong. That's why. Come here. You're going to have the correct hitboxes now. That's what's gonna happen. That's correct. That's right. Now we just need to I need the formula to raycast against it, and then we should be pretty good to go. Right, and then our GLTF node pointer node is going to equal. This isn't the best code, but if root is node, then we want to actually pass in mat4 identity. Listen, we have hitboxes, they just don't work. So it's probably some dumb error with this formula. So I'll figure it out. It's whatever. Probably have to log some stuff or something. I also may have copied this down wrong. Yeah, it's cool. Now we have a hitbox builder. We have serializable entity definitions to JSON, and they load in automatically when we load in GLTFs, which is all cool, all good, fun, and dandy. So I will see you guys later. Peace out. Hello there. Hope you're doing good today. I am inside, which is a rarity. But I'm afraid it's gonna be the new normal. I don't have to be tortured with mosquitoes anymore, which is pretty awesome. I have some bug fixes to work on, particularly there's an assertion fail that's been happening lately on the editor triangles. The animation system right now, there's a bug where when the animation loops, there's basically a frame where our model's leg basically contorts in on itself, and I'm not really sure where that bug comes from. I have this idea that since it happens at the end of the animation, we might be reading past some, null data or something. Oh, 2814. This record. Yeah, that's what I should listen to. I just popped up in my recommended. So that's what I'm going to be listening to. The last time I heard this must have been like 2017. 8 years ago. Wow, that's a long time. Hold on, this is super loud. So, 2 bugs to fix. First one is going to be I guess the more important one is the animation one, but that's the one that I have no clue on. This should not be casted. I don't know why this is casted. Probably something that I copied from somewhere. That's casted. Shouldn't be casted. Basically, I have this thing here that finds the animation length and then finds if our current time is less than it, so that we know that we're playing valid frames. Oh, she is naked. I feel bad for having her naked, but I did take the clothes off just to figure this out, because I was afraid that the clothes were messing the animation up. But as you can see, the leg breaks every like 1 frame in the animation. But this is pretty obscene. That animation is a demon possessing her? Yeah, I don't know. So that animation was my attempt at making like a breathing animation. Okay, like I know it's not great, but her that 1 frame where she like bugs out or whatever, I'm trying to figure out what that is. It happens during multiple animations. It happens like also when she walks. It's also a similar issue, and it looks like it's just her right leg. But yeah, this was the cool thing that we did recently. You may not have seen it if you didn't see the last stream, but we did do hitboxes. Yeah, so that's what's going on there. So the hitboxes don't work completely. It's the offset actually is broken on the hitboxes. The offset is not being applied in the right direction. I could actually just like check the GLTF itself and then check what joint her leg is. Leg lower R it would be, and leg upper R. So I don't know what, I would have to actually count down the node list to get there. That's painful. So we're just going through our nodes here to find it. If we find the match with the name, then just print out the matrix. I feel a bit scared. We might have to put our clothes back on now that Arya's here. The bug wasn't my chat. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that this would work, because now I'm like just looking at a bunch of like matrix numbers here. Like literally matrix, but also like it kind of looks like the matrix. But I don't really know what I'm even looking for here. I was kind of expecting to see one that looks really fucked up, but it's just kind of nonsense. We'd also try leg lower.r, but I doubt it. I doubt it. This is my walk animation. Do not even. Don't talk to me about the walk animation, okay? We know that it's not great. We know. So the animation looks fine here. Maybe it's this manual frame range thing. Maybe you know this, Arya, but how do I make it so that the materials always go to the correct thing when I import in? Because every time I have to change it like this, like they go to like base 001. It's like super annoying. What format? GLB. But it does this when I import like object files too, or whatever. Like it'll make a new material instead of just making it the correct material. Merge material slots when possible. That sounds like it, but it's already checked. When we had our old idle animation, we didn't have this issue. So it's either something with the new animations or it's something that we added since then. So we aren't getting cubic spline, which is what I was worried about, but we aren't getting cubic spline. So I wonder if there's some divide by 0 that's happening here. This seems to be happening at the same rate. Do you see this? At the same rate that we're seeing the bug. This one kind of has the same rhythm. Boom, 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 boom. All these going to negative. Boom, 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 boom. 0.769 to negative 278. Seems to be the same exact rhythm. I'm kind of interested here to see the leg lower L and see if it has the same thing. Because if it doesn't have the same thing, then that's the issue right there. Yeah, it doesn't have it. It doesn't have it. It just goes from 0.9 to 0.98 here. I wonder, now I'm kind of wondering about the local matrix too. I might actually print out the local. What we also could be doing technically is we could be multiplying by identity just for a few frames for whatever reason. It's the game I'm making. I can show it off quickly. We're working on a bug right now, so let me just log something new. This is the game. We have strafing and stuff. And you know, Counter-Strike style bee hopping. Ignore the jitteriness of the gun. Anyway, tall girl. I wonder if it's parented to multiple. Actually, that might be it. It honestly might be a problem with the IK. With the IK bone. You always forget the mem compare and shrink. Yeah, me too. I've had quite a few bugs just because I forget that. What my idea is that this leg is attached to the IK. But as I'm looking through here, I'm looking for the children. I'm pretty sure that leg lower R is child 24, and I don't see it. I don't see it anywhere else. I'm tempted to open Blender and take a look at specifically this frame. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's this. It's this. It's when this moves. I can prove it. No, that wasn't it, apparently. You know what I did notice? I noticed that this wasn't parented properly. That's what I did notice earlier. or it wasn't like connected to the correct thing. Like this shouldn't be like that, obviously. Maybe it is just a straight up problem with my... I need to change the role, right, of this bone. Will I ever open source this, or is this a solo project? Good question. I don't really have anything against people contributing to it. Like, honestly, I've just put this together based on what I've figured out from the internet anyway. But, I mean, then again, the code is kind of, you know, janky. I do kind of want to make something with it though, and so at the same time, I definitely would have my reservations about like just open sourcing it before I create like a game or something with it. Okay, it's working now. Yeah, it probably just was that, huh? We still have the pane working. Okay, so yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so the issue there, I think, was that the top of the body wasn't parented to the bone. And yeah, the pants, to be honest, the pants should just be a part of her skin mesh. I should really just like delete her skin underneath the pants and just make the clothes a part of her body. That would fix like literally all of the issues. Anyway, so the second bug that we have is this really strange bug that happens here. It's gonna segfault me here, but basically if I click here, we segfault. So rebuild and right selected triangles, one of my assertions is failing. That assertion was never supposed to be an issue, but apparently it's become an issue now, and so we have to investigate it. This, by the way, is one of my favorite pieces of music. It's this kind of minimalist composition by this very mystical, strange composer called Simeon Ten Holt. Pretty much only with these dissonant seconds that play throughout the entirety of the composition. It's just these slowly repeating and morphing patterns. Anyway, it evolves into something beautiful later on, but it's very long. Anyway, this version is played with 4 different pianos, which is common in recordings of this composition, is that multiple different timbres kind of play on top of each other. As usual, the only way to debug something in C is just to do print statements. Point count is not supposed to equal hover offset. Point start equals hover offset. Point count is its own thing. Okay, well, that was the logical bug. It was just one line that I had there that wasn't supposed to be there. Okay, but now this works fine. Okay, so that's all the bugs fixed. Now we need to check where I apply the offsets to the hitboxes, not to the hitboxes, but to the node itself. Oh, wait, I'm adding it twice. Wait, I'm adding it twice. Wait, I literally added it twice. Yeah, I played this for this piece for my friend too at some point. One of my friends at some point, but I remember them saying, "Oh, this piece makes me feel like I'm going insane. I hate it." Why do the collision boxes not follow her visually? I just haven't coded it. So basically, it just only goes into the update loop when we're in editor mode. That's why. But yeah, I have to just make it outside of editor mode. It can go, yeah, right here. If editor config dot display hitboxes, then just write node wireframe. Oh no, never mind. This isn't the right selected entity hitbox wireframes. This is the function. The recursive one. The other one is just for the selected hitbox, the red one. They're different functions because I made them different functions deal with it. This is also a beautiful part. This refrain comes back from the beginning, from the first section. This dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. There's also a part in this recording where this organ comes in, like halfway. It's like this kind of giant climax moment for the piece. Anyway, now her hitboxes should move in real time. There we go. There we go. Anything to make Arya happy. Just kidding. Yeah, there are things like that are like 10-second fixes. You know, it just takes like 1 minute just to write code that I just refuse to do. I'm going to sit here and blame it on my ADHD, even though it's just my own stupidity and laziness. But yeah, it probably has something to do with the ADHD, to be honest. Okay, so this works now, because this is a hitbox from her upper, just offset down. So it works now. All of it works. Okay. Now that that's working, I kind of want to make her animation. Yeah, I don't know. So the thing that I was doing earlier, like 2 days ago, was I was literally like walking around trying to observe how I walk, just to see if I could figure out how to make a walk animation. And obviously didn't go well. Maybe we just scrap this totally and then start over. It's also pretty funny because it kind of looks like she's, you know, using the bathroom. Can I just... Whoa. Image objects can only be... Okay, that's true. Who the f stands like that? Who the f stands like that? That's so weird. She's weird. Body shaming the poor reference girl. Shut up, dude. Her arms are weird. Like, okay, I guess we're just gonna have to do it slow. This is gonna be the slowest walk in existence. That's more like it. That's more like it. You know, little pep in this step. Yeah, we'll make a run animation then, not a walking animation. Dude, like, there isn't like a run, right? Like when you see, for example, like the ogre from Quake, the guy who shoots the grenades, okay? He doesn't run, he just walks, you know? He walks at a brisk pace, okay? It isn't a run. She's not running. She's you know, ominously following, right? You know what, I feel like I really want her to walk like... Have you seen this movie, Pulse, by Kiyoshi Kurosawa? Have you seen it? That's one of my favorite scenes ever. It's just so creepy, you know? It's like... It's not even like there's no scary thing going on. It's just this woman walking towards the camera and she like stumbles and almost falls to the ground, but like, I don't know, it's so weird the way that she moves. So she starts kind of, and here it kind of starts going back. So the head also, the neck also kind of moves, so moves to the... I feel like the target should probably just stay consistent though. Like we should probably just like take this keyframe and just like copy paste it on top. Like the target should be staying the same, I think. The target does change here though. I do notice that this moves over. So that's what I'm gonna pay attention to and move this a little bit. Am I tripping, or should I have been like an animator or something? I'm happy with it. God, I wish I knew how to weight paint properly, because this obviously is not working out that great for me. I don't really know how to make this come forward more. I mean, honestly, what we could do is just delete her body under the clothes. Like, we could just do that, which probably is the way that most people would do it. Now there's no issues, obviously, but she doesn't have a body under the clothes. But I mean, yeah, I mean her shirt still. Also, you probably just have to get rid of the overlapping parts of the shirt as well if you're gonna do this. That fixes a lot of the issues. Not all of them, obviously, but. Okay, I don't know why she doesn't have hair, but I mean, that looks pretty good. Jesus, that looks pretty good. Very interesting. There are some bugs with it I need to figure out. I'm trying to try to catch them. Let me just print out the path at every point in time, or every time we get a new path. We print out the path. It appears to be when she calculates a new path, but that doesn't make any sense, because how would she be moving if the same exact code that moves her is the one that samples the floor? So, oh, hold on a second. I think I know. There's a return here, isn't there? Yes, a return here. Yep. Yep, a return here. That's what it has to be. That's pretty sick, actually. She is bald. She is bald. We need to give her her hair again for sure. I need to figure out how to animate faces. I also kind of want her head to come off. Would be pretty sick to do. I think the way you do that is you just make an animation, and then a part of the animation, it just unparents. The bone just unparents from the child. I'm going to take a break. I think I just need a Boolean for it to stop walking, to be honest. I just need to do that. But yeah, I will take a break and then be back for a little bit, probably after, to do the projectile. Alright. Peace out. What I am going to start working on today is going to be making it so that you can load in different things. So the first thing that we want to do is basically make a good thing that we should start with, right, is making the camera for the gun. For making the gun an asset that we can load in instead of having it directly on the map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new version of the map here that doesn't have the gun asset at all, right? Instead, we will load in that GLTF separately, and then try and have that work. So, but we want to also keep the names now. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go to GLTF instances, and then make a name here. And this is going to be the name of the file that we loaded in. that gave us this instance. The instance will point back to this, right? It'll point back to its instance, and then it'll go to its render groups, and then the render groups will receive the entity data, and then they will render it. This is actually going to turn into asset ID, skin ID, and the root ID. Okay, our assets can have multiple skins, don't ask why. So this is now going to have render instance data, and for now let's just do this, just drawing once. The reason why we want our render groups to draw multiple times is because now we can have multiple instances of the same asset. So now the group instance, every group should start with an instance count of 1. The interesting thing here is that bind shader program is now actually going to need an extra render instance data. It needs this as well. When it renders, it's going to just pass in a loop its instance data for each draw call. So render groups are not going to be allocated every frame. They're just going to be pre-made per asset, is what I think we're going to do. Basically our batching is kind of the best part about the engine, is that we are able to batch basically from load time instead of during runtime, meaning that our my meshes don't matter. We only see materials, and we only split based on when we need different instances and different animations. So basically our material system is pre-batched. So that's kind of the best part about the engine, and I don't want to change that, so that's why we're doing this. Then how do you render everything that isn't an asset? That's the question. Because you have to also render all of the materials like these that aren't assets. We could make a boolean for it on the material definition that just says, do we need to set up a dummy instance for this material? Every material now that doesn't render geometry or entity or whatever in the diegetic world of the game now is going to get a dummy instance. So what I'm kind of running into an issue here with is basically when I load in a GLTF, I split them into entities based on how many root nodes I detect, nodes without parents. This allows me to load in basically multiple assets at once with one file, but I think that that's atypical for an engine, and typically you want every GLTF to be a separate asset, and you want one root node, you want one everything in one place. which sucks, but it is kind of what we have to do. Is Bro dead silent? No, I'm not. Sorry. I'm just... It's very late here, and I've been talking for many hours. I've been live for like 10 hours today, so... Did you take this shit? Be honest. Be so real with me right now. Did you take this shit? Fire another one. Okay, there we go. It is working. Next I have to make the animation for her to do the shooting. I have to also make her weapon.